you all for coming today, and thank you, Ms. Hall, for allowing me to use your classroom again. I want to speak to you about a serious challenge facing America today: high energy prices and our dependence on foreign oil. I hope that you will agree that America needs to drill here at home for our own oil, as we now have the technology to control our own energy future. America needs to drill here and drill now. First, let's talk about why drilling now is important. The world is operating at full capacity and demand is only going to increase. Investors and speculators drive the price up when they see the future supplies are limited. Opening up new oil fields in the U.S. would immediately impact speculation, as we see a greater supply ahead. We will also not be concerned about Middle Eastern turmoil disrupting supply shipments and driving the prices up, which represents a more stable source of oil, Colorado or Caracas. Now, let's look at why the majority of Americans are supporting domestic drilling. In July of this year, 2008, oil topped $147 a barrel, setting a new high record. July 14th, President Bush lifted a ban on offshore drilling that had been in place for 26 years, but Congress was still not on board. During this time, American Solutions delivered 1,300,000 signatures, mine included, to Congress from outraged Americans who want America to be able to drill here and drill now. On September 24, 2008, Congress finally lifted the 26-year-old ban on drilling. A common myth is that oil companies already have 68 million acres of leased public land they could drill. The fact is that much of it has already been explored and determined not to carry enough recoverable oil to justify drilling. The U.S. has not been able to explore or build any new refineries in decades. Drilling for American oil would help lower energy costs and free us from dependence on foreign oil. In Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming alone, the U.S. has approximately 800 billion barrels of recoverable oil, which is over 3 times the proven reserves of Saudi Arabia. Millions of acres thought to be rich in oil and natural gas have still not been explored because opponents to greater U.S. exploration think they understand more about drilling than petroleum engineers. Offshore drilling companies have an excellent record of preventing spills and minimizing environmental damage due to technology advances. The fact is that most all of pollution and spillage comes from tankers transporting oil from other countries. Drilling from our own oil would greatly reduce the risk by reducing the number of international oil tankers entering our ports. Offshore drilling proponents want to do it in compliance with the environmental safeguards, which are more stringent in the U.S. than anywhere in the world, as described by the U.S. Department of Energy. In conclusion, drilling for American oil would help lower energy costs and free us from dependence on foreign oil. This fall, both presidential candidates changed their stance on drilling, and gas prices fell 23 days in a row. Drilling is now environmentally safe with state-of-the-art practices. We would be much better off to drill for the oil in the Gulf of Mexico than allow China and Cuba to drill here and risk major environmental catastrophe. America's energy strategy should not be solely dependent on oil. We should also embrace the development of alternative energy sources such as nuclear, wind, solar, and others, but using the oil and natural gas that we have right here in America is a good place to start. Americans made their voice heard and are finally winning the energy debate to drill here and drill now. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Very good. That was the best one. You did
I messed up
great.
at the end.
No, you did great. So you make sure to comment.